My boyfriend wants to be the man of the house and I have to be a working trad wife. So, I made him an ex. I have been with my boyfriend for 3 years now and it has been wonderful. We have been talking about marriage lately as it felt right for both of us. Throughout our relationship, we often talked about what our goals were and what we wanted our future together to look like. I was always vocal about how I wanted a more equal, non-traditional relationship. We both work, we both don't want children. I expect to have a joint account with him and pay our expenses proportionally based on our income. I do make more than him, but I don't mind since I believe us to be a team. And for the last 3 years, he's agreed with me, or so I thought. These past 2 to 3 weeks, we have been setting a timeline for our wedding plans and all, talking about all the concrete steps and little details. And so I asked him again what he wanted our marriage to be like, but in more detail. He suddenly told me that he wants us to have traditional gender roles. And I was so confused. These past 3 years have not been that way. I am so confused about how he just expects us to change after marriage. I have been dating him and want to pursue something serious with him because I love our current dynamic and he seemed happy too. I have made it clear since day one that I want to maintain what we have now until forever. He has never told me that that was not the case for him. Now I feel tricked, lied to. He told me that although I make more of the income, he wants to be the man of the house, the leader, and so what he says goes. He has the final say in the decisions and I cannot be questioning him. I told him this would lead me to not being heard and miserable. It will make me feel less valued. He says it's the best way to avoid arguments. Sure, less arguments, because what I think wouldn't matter, but I will build resentment, and then it's no longer a happy marriage. I have seen him binge watching alpha male podcasts recently, and I don't know if he has always thought this way or if it's recent. All I know is that my whole body is telling me this is not it. I cannot marry him. It sounds like trouble, but am I correct for thinking this way? I don't know why, but the last 3 years have been so wonderful that it's so hard for me to wrap my head around this sudden switch. I luckily don't live with him or have any shared assets. He also did explicitly say that he expects me to continue working, so I guess he wanted the best of both worlds. And before we started dating, I was hesitant due to our age gap. I have heard of horror stories, so I have been very careful about power dynamics, but he was amazing for the last 3 years, so I did put my defenses down eventually. My friends and family also liked him. They always said we genuinely seemed happy together and complimented each other well. On to what happened. He came over to my house the night, which isn't unusual. We spend most nights together after work. I knew I had to break up, but didn't know how to yet. I was still debating if I should ask him more questions or just end it. Luckily, he did not suspect anything so far, so it took me some time to figure out my next step, I thought. As soon as he came in though, he tried to initiate intimacy, and I said no since I was not in the mood. He got angry. He has never done this before. We have always had a very healthy, fulfilling sexual relationship, but now he kept trying to convince me to have sex with him and asked me why I was putting my needs over his, that I can just force myself to do it for the sake of our relationship. I said that I wasn't feeling well. I know I shouldn't even have to justify though. He said that even if I'm not feeling well, it's not an excuse. I was disgusted. I fell out of love that instant. I mean, I was already in the process of it, but this really did it. I also felt very unsafe. I stood my ground and told him that this was not consensual and that someone's health was more important than his need for sex. I kept repeating it until he eventually stopped pushing, but he didn't leave my place until an hour later. I was afraid to anger him again by telling him to leave, so I just stayed quiet doing stuff around the apartment until he decided to leave. Luckily, nothing happened to me, but wow. I told my friends and family everything. They supported me in my decision to break up and helped me prepare my speech. I asked him to meet me in a public space the next day. My friends were nearby keeping an eye. He was still angry at me because I hadn't been talking to him and I refused sex. He asked me why I expect him to take care of me when I'm unwell, but I didn't give him sex yesterday. I decided to not waste my breath in explaining something so basic. I went on with my breakup speech as prepared, where I told him everything, how disrespectful he's been, all the podcast stuff, etc. He suddenly looked so scared and begged me to take him back. He said he understands what I'm saying, that I'm right about the podcasts, and that he will work on it. He was trying to convince me not to break up, but I did not believe anything he said. I held my ground and told him there was no room for discussion. It was over and I left. Now I feel a weight lifted, but I am also heartbroken.